December arrives, and with it, something that is supposed to be magical happens in the world around you. Lights twinkle in store windows, songs speak of peace and love, and families begin planning warm gatherings. But inside you, the opposite happens. Your stomach knots up. A cold anxiety begins to crawl up your spine. You aren't thinking about presents or recipes. You are calculating risks. You are walking on eggshells before you even enter the room. There is a silent question that echoes in the mind of every woman who is in or has been in a relationship with a narcissistic personality during the holidays. Will this year be different? Could there, by some Christmas miracle, finally be peace? And then, the crucial moment happens. You smile. Maybe you're laughing with a relative. Maybe you're genuinely happy opening a gift, or simply feeling the lightness of the moment. And it is exactly at that instant that you lock eyes with the narcissist. What you see isn't shared joy. It is a dark, cold void, or a pent-up irritation about to explode. Why does your happiness, specifically at Christmas, seem to offend this person so much? Why, year after year, is there an almost mathematical pattern of ruining holidays? It's not a coincidence. It's not bad luck. And it is definitely not your fault for saying the wrong thing. What we are going to decode today is the hidden mechanism behind the narcissistic hatred of someone else's Christmas. We are going to dive deep into the psyche of someone who views your smile not as an invitation, but as a threat. You will understand what truly goes through their head when they see you happy, and why this reaction is the key for you to finally free yourself from the guilt of having an imperfect Christmas. My name is Lauren Mitchell. My purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you, and more importantly, that you are not alone. Let's start by validating the scenario you probably know by heart, but perhaps have never been able to describe out loud for fear of sounding dramatic. Christmas with a narcissist rarely explodes out of nowhere. It is a symphony of tension meticulously constructed. Usually, it starts days before. There is a fog of bad moods hanging over the house. He might complain about the cost of gifts, criticize the hypocrisy of the holidays, or simply mope around, refusing to help with preparations. This forces you to work twice as hard. You have to create the Christmas magic for the children or the family while managing the unstable mood of an adult who acts like a spoiled child. You enter hypervigilance mode. You check if his clothes are ironed, if his favorite food is on the table, if anyone is going to bring up controversial topics. You are exhausted, not from the party, but from the emotional management of the environment. And then, Christmas Eve arrives. You look beautiful. Maybe you received a compliment from an uncle, or you're laughing at an inside joke with your sister. You are glowing. That is the moment the sabotage happens, and it can come in many forms, all designed to blow out your light. It could be the punitive lateness. He takes hours to get ready, making everyone wait, ensuring the dinner starts cold and tense, and leaving you anxious and apologizing to the guests. It could be the surgical comment. He waits until you feel good about your outfit to whisper that it's a bit tight or too vulgar for the occasion, instantly deflating your confidence. Or it could be the passive-aggressive gift. He gives you something that clearly shows he doesn't know you or wants to change you. A utilitarian appliance when you asked for something personal, or clothes in a size that isn't yours. But the most disturbing reaction is when you are radiant, perhaps singing or joking, and he simply withdraws. He goes to a corner, gets on his phone, or locks himself in the bedroom with a fake sudden illness, a mysterious migraine that appears exactly at the moment of the toast. The result? Your attention leaves the party, leaves your happiness, and snaps back, like a magnet, to him. What happened? Is he okay? Did I do something wrong? The party continues around you, but you are no longer there. You've been sucked into his vacuum. You end the night feeling drained, confused, and often crying in the bathroom while the fireworks go off outside. If you have lived through this, know this. This is not random behavior. This is a control system. To understand why your happiness at Christmas is so unbearable for the narcissist, we need to look inside their emotional structure. Christmas, culturally and psychologically, is a time focused on two things: emotional connection and shared memories. The narcissist operates with a severe deficit in these two areas. Imagine the narcissist is someone born without the ability to feel the warmth of the fireplace, but he sees everyone around him getting warm. He sees you laughing with your parents. He sees the exchange of knowing glances between friends. He sees the genuine excitement of a child. He sees all of it. He can imitate all of it. but he doesn't feel it. He is perpetually on the outside of the window, looking at the feast, starving, but unable to eat. When he sees you happy at Christmas, you become a giant mirror reflecting what is missing in him. Your genuine joy is living proof of his inability to connect deeply. This generates what we call pathological envy. It's not the common envy of "I wish I had that car." It is an existential envy. It is the rage of seeing that you possess a soul, a vivacity, an ability to nourish yourself with simple feelings, while he needs constant supply, external admiration, and forced validation just to feel minimally alive. For the narcissist, happiness is a zero-sum game. If you have a lot, it means he has very little. If you are full of joy, he feels empty. Therefore, his instinctive reaction, almost one of survival, is to level the playing field. He needs to pop your balloon. He cannot rise to your level of emotional vibration, so the only way to connect with you is by pulling you down into the emotional mud where he resides. When he manages to make you cry at Christmas dinner, he feels a perverse relief. Now, your external expression, sadness, anger, matches his internal state. The mirror has stopped showing the lack. Now it reflects the chaos he knows and controls. There is a second layer here regarding control and autonomy. The narcissist sees people around him as extensions of himself, like supporting actors in a movie where he is the protagonist, director, and critic. On a daily basis, he trains you to focus on him. But at Christmas, the dynamic shifts. The focus disperses. You are focused on the decorations, the food, the guests, the kids, and even worse, you are gaining pleasure from sources external to him. When he sees you smiling at someone else or enjoying a song, the narcissistic brain interprets this as a betrayal. He interprets your autonomous happiness as an act of rebellion. How dare she be happy if I am not the cause of that happiness? How dare she shine without my permission? Your independent joy signals to him that he is not the absolute center of your universe. This wounds his ego profoundly. He feels he is losing control over your emotional state. Remember, for the narcissist, control is security. If you can be happy without him, you can also live without him. And that thought is terrifying to his fragile ego structure. This is why sabotage often happens right after a moment of great autonomy on your part. Were you complimented on the dinner? He'll criticize the dessert. Are you laughing hard with your cousins? He'll create a baseless jealousy crisis, accusing you of flirting or ignoring him. His reaction to seeing you happy is a desperate attempt at recentering. He would rather be the villain who destroyed Christmas and is on everyone's lips, everyone worried, everyone walking on eggshells around him, than just another guest at your happy party. Negative attention is still attention. Hatred is still an intense bond. He would rather you hate him on Christmas night than have you ignore him or be happy independently of him. Now, let's talk about a different but equally common scenario. What if you've already separated? What if you are trying to rebuild your life and spend your first Christmas away from him? How does the narcissist react when he sees your happiness from a distance, through social media or through shared children? The logic remains the same, but the tactics change. If he sees a photo of you smiling, toasted, looking beautiful, and apparently healed, it is a personal affront. It is confirmation that he was not indispensable. In this scenario, his reaction usually splits into two paths: punishment or strategic hoovering. Punishment from a distance comes through messages calculated to destabilize you. He knows exactly when dinner starts. At 11:30 p.m., just as you are about to celebrate, that text message arrives. It could be an accusation about child custody, a reminder of an old debt, or something cruel disguised as concern. I hope you're happy, despite everything you did to our family. The goal is simple. He wants to be a ghost at your table. He wants you to look at your phone and feel that punch to the stomach, pulling you out of the present moment and dragging your mind back to him. Strategic hoovering, the attempt to suck you back in, is the opposite, but with the same intent. It's the sentimental message sent during the emotional vulnerability of the holidays. I'm sitting here alone remembering our first Christmas. No one makes the turkey like you do. If he senses you are happy and moving on, he may try to use Christmas nostalgia to reopen the door. Not because he loves you or misses the connection, but because he cannot stand the idea of you generating a supply of happiness somewhere else. He wants to check if he still has access, if he can still get you to respond and engage. In both cases, his reaction to your happiness is intrusion. He does not respect boundaries. especially on sacred dates. Your peace is seen as empty territory that he needs to invade and reconquer. Now that we've unmasked these 3 pillars, it all starts to make a painful but liberating kind of sense, doesn't it? You understand now that the Christmas ruined 3 years ago wasn't because you burnt the rice. You understand that the dirty look he gave you when you laughed with your sister wasn't because you were talking too loud. You understand that the cruel message that arrived on Christmas Eve wasn't an accident. All of it was a mechanical and pathological response to your light. The narcissist reacts to your happiness at Christmas the way a virus reacts to a strong immune system, by attacking to try and survive. Your joy is toxic to his darkness. Knowing this gives you a superpower for the coming holidays, the power of predictability. When you know the sabotage is coming, it loses the element of surprise. You stop taking it personally. You can look at that sulking behavior at the table or that aggressive text on your phone, and instead of feeling guilt or fear, you can feel detachment. You can think, there it is, the pattern. He is trying to regulate his own envy and insecurity through me. I'm not accepting the invitation. This Christmas, the greatest gift you can give yourself isn't wrapped in colorful paper. It is the internal permission to be happy, with or without his approval. It is the decision to shield your joy. If he wants to sit sulking in the corner, let him. Don't try to fix him. Don't try to cheer him up at the expense of your own energy. Keep your focus on the people who know how to exchange affection, on the lights, on the food, and on your own peace. Your happiness is your property. And for a narcissist, the greatest revenge isn't your screaming or your crying. It is your indifference to his attempt to ruin your moment. It is you continuing to smile, continuing to toast, and continuing to live, in spite of him. This is your Christmas. Take it back. Feel free to leave your story, your vent, or even a suggestion for a future video topic in the comments below. Access the link in the description to check out my ebook and the benefits of being a channel member. Click on the suggested video on the screen to stay with me, and remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.